but you also have to realize that some rules are what's unwritten rules. And that means you're uncomfortable doing something different because you feel like you're breaking the rules. But you're not breaking the rules. You're reinventing something, and that's what makes it important. Okay.
Hey, why don't you take this?
And then I'll be right back. Hold on just a moment. Like I said, it's a mystery, so.
He's gonna go get somebody out of the dining room.
Okay.
Okay, so back to what I was saying. Our speaker this week's a mystery speaker. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is the mystery speaker's in the room. And it could be one of you, but we'll have a hard time hearing you if it was one of you. And so, anyone want to guess who the mystery speaker is today?
You're making it feel like they're, that's your last chance for these people to speak. Man, you're really building them up great.
Well, just because we should get the guy behind the Foster Grants to speak, because he's always hiding behind those damn glasses.
I thought they're blue whatever, aren't they?
Yeah,
Blue blockers.
blue block.
So anybody have a guess who the mystery speaker is? You're a sharp bunch of people. Huh? Who? Nope. Nice guess.
Here she comes.
The waitress.
No, but we could have done that. She'd probably tell us all whatever. Any other guesses? We gotta move along here.
Okay, you didn't guess. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, you got it right. It's gonna be me. So, and when I walked out of the room, because I thought there was gonna be a bigger turnout here today, when I was gonna announce it was gonna be me, if anybody was gonna try to leave, I didn't go get a speaker. I actually locked the door, so nobody can get out today. So, anyway, I want to start with telling a little quick story, and this is just a couple little key words per card, so don't get carried away. I just did this yesterday.
Once upon a time.
No, not quite. So I don't know if any of you ever heard of this organization called Comic-Con? Have you heard of Comic-Con?
Is it a comic group?
I guess they dress up like Marvel characters,
Yeah.
comic book characters, and they meet.
You call that normal?
Convention,
Yeah, convention. So the first time I saw this was probably 2 years before COVID downtown. I saw a bunch of people walking around in costumes, and I asked a friend in the car, I said, what are they doing? But anyway, the summer before COVID hit, a good friend of mine that only lives about 45 miles from Sacramento called me and said, I'm going to be in town this weekend for a convention, Saturday, Sunday. My girlfriend and I are coming in Friday afternoon, and we'd like to get together. We haven't seen you for a while. And I said, well, then good, let's go out to a restaurant, have some drinks, whatever, have a good time. So we meet at the restaurant, we do what we do, and pretty soon I said, well, by the way, what is this convention you're in town for? And he goes, it's called Comic-Con. Have you heard of it? I said, yeah, I have. That's where people dress up like superheroes or Spider-Man or something. He goes, it's a really cool deal. We really have a great time, we really connect, and so on. He goes, you should come. I said, well, it's really short notice. I probably couldn't get in anyway. He goes, I could probably pull some strings. I said, well, unfortunately, I have another obligation, so sadly I cannot go to Comic-Con. So I couldn't parade around downtown in costumes. So anyway, but they know exactly what they are, and they know exactly what they represent. And not unlike a lot of organizations, similar to what Lions do. We really do know, at least internally, we know what we are, we know what we represent. But sometimes I have to ask, or I want to argue, that we try to carry on a legacy without a certain amount of change. And I also want to argue that we are living in a moment that the ideas that are created and spread and implemented, a lot of times are only spread throughout our organization. Because we all know each other and we talk, and we know what we stand for, or at least most of us believe we know what we stand for. So we're in this new model of leadership in this world. And this isn't something that happened yesterday. This has been happening for decades. And we hear it at conventions, we hear it at meetings, we talk about it all the time. The issue is there, we know what the issues are, we believe. But what we try to do is we try to hypnotize everyone in our organization, or to go outside of our organization to buy into the cause. And I think we do that. When I say hypnotize, We talk numbers. The same people talk about the same thing. We have new reports every year, and then we don't seem to really, truly act. It seems to be the hardest thing that we do as Lions Club members is to how to get our message out to the world. But I do believe there is good news around the corner. And I call it the idea of tribes. Now, tribes is not a new concept. Tribes have been around for tens of thousands of years, maybe since the beginning of time, whatever you believe the beginning of time was, based on your religious beliefs or whatever. And tribes, Lions are a tribe. And when you talk about tribe, it's something that people been wanting to belong to forever. They want to be part of something that's important. And then there's a tribe out there that's really well known, and they're pirates. Pirates are a tribe. They have their own flag, they have the same patch. Everyone knows what a pirate is, okay? Now, if you aspire to be a pirate, you can go online, you can probably figure out how to join a group of pirates. So when it comes to lions, though, I don't know if everyone out there knows what lions are. So it's similar kind of tribe, similar kind of community, but they don't even know who we are a lot of the times. So, but you can always tell when you run into someone in a tribe. So if someone comes to one of our events and we're cooking pancakes or we're cleaning up or we're grilling hot dogs or whatever, and we got vests and we got hats and we got pins and we all smile and we all hug and we all know each other. When people see that, they realize that they're witnessing a tribe. A lot of times, and I've heard this from somebody on the line here just this last week, a bocce ball or something. We may do stuff, we clear up when we get out of there, but we don't really tell the people at the event who we really are. We don't have a spokesperson. We don't ask people to come to our meetings. We miss that all the time. But again, you can tell when you're in presence of a tribe. And it turns out that tribes really is what changes the world. Lions have changed the world. We continue to do so. And it's because of the tribal. It's because of the community and the involvement that we have. And it becomes far bigger than ourselves. So each one of us individually, whether it's 4 or 5 of us here today, or 20 of us here today, or whatever it is, and what's online, it's bigger than ourselves. And it becomes a movement. And that's how things get done. A movement. And the first thing you need to realize is we don't need everyone to have a movement. As this club's a great example, a large club, people pay their dues. People that some of us have not met ever. Okay? It's the same people you hear over and over do the same things. And that's not a negative. That's great that we do that. But when I say you don't need everyone, we need other people, though. We need new people to do the things that we're already doing. And how do you find people that want to be involved? You got to find people that care enough that they will get you to the next round, that they believe enough in what we're trying to do. So we need to instill in people that go out and ask one person, ask them to come to the club. And when you find people out there that have a cause and they see that we support that cause, because we support so many causes, then what happens is they'll find another person and another round, and pretty soon you have rounds and rounds of people, and that's how Lions grow, and that's how we used to grow, and I believe in a lot of cases we still do, but not like we used to. And it's about finding the true believers out there. And when you talk about true believers, people are out there that believe in things. A lot of times they don't know how to express it. They don't know how to help what they believe in their cause. So I'm going to use some interesting examples. So if you take huge rock bands, Alice Cooper, shock rockers, 60s, 70s, 80s, and today, you take the Beatles, you take the Rolling Stones, okay? They did not create rebellious teenagers. They did not create teenagers that wanted to rebel against their parents. A lot of you had these kids. They rebelled against the churches and rebelled against the school. They rebelled against their governments, right? But these groups, the people that are politicians, they don't create these followers. These followers are out there, and they're yearning. So I got something here, it's real short, and it's a word, and all these people that create these followings, or capture these followings, are what's called heretics. And I'm not going to give you the Merriam-Webster definition of that. What that basically is they look at the status quo, and they say this can't stand. Heretics cannot look at a status quo and accept it. They see what the status quo is, and they don't like it. It's uncomfortable, but they don't like it. They look around and say, I want people to be connected. And we are connected to a great degree, but they're always looking for ways to reconnect people that aren't connected, whether they're members or whatever, that don't come to the meetings, and so on. They tell a story, they connect the tribe, and they lead a movement. And with that happens, when they lead a movement, changes happen, they make changes, and the people around them make changes. So I have 3 questions for everybody online and everyone in this room. First question is, who are you upsetting? Are you upsetting anybody? Second question is, who are you connecting? What are you doing to connect to people out there, to tell them about the reason that you're part of this organization, this club, and all the causes we do? And the third question is, who are you leading? Because we all have the capability to lead, and I think we all, in some cases, in some ways, do lead, right? First of all, you don't need permission to lead people. You don't need permission to lead the person next to you. You don't need permission to lead people in this room, online. You don't need permissions to lead me. Okay? Because people out there want to be led. But in case you're looking for an excuse, or in case you want permission to lead people, like I said, they're wanting to be shown where to go next. They're out there, they're waiting. So what I want you to do before next Wednesday's meeting, if you come, is I hope you do this without going, before discarding it and going, this is silly, this is worthless, I don't want to do it. So at least think about it. But all I want you to do is one thing before next meeting, and that's simply create a movement, okay? That's it, just create a movement. Start, do it. We need it. Thank you. Think of one thing you can do to bring people together and connect. And maybe that's calling Frank or me or Mark Steffens or Steve Quist and saying, hey, do you have any business cards or your prospects with phone numbers on them, mobile numbers? I'd like to reach out to them and just make a call. Call somebody in the organization more than you normally do. We all talk amongst certain people, right? But people want you to call them. People don't want to be forgotten. People actually want to be missed. They want to know that when they're not at an event, whether it's in person here or whatever, they want to know that people are concerned and they want to be reached out to. So go down the roster and see who's on there that you used to maybe knew a little bit better and you just haven't talked to them forever. And a lot of us are successful at doing this. A lot of you online do this. But go out of your way, find one person. And that's a movement. Simply call one person you haven't talked to in 10 years and do it today. That's all I have today. That's our speaker presentation, and I'll finish up the rest of the agenda. I hope I didn't scare any of you. Any questions? Any conversation?
I think you stunned them.
They're
I
numb.
have a comment.
Go for it.
I like your idea of the connection. You have 44 members. Everybody has a roster. If you want people to come to your meetings or see if they still have an interest in the Embarcadero Alliance, call one of those people on that list that you haven't seen for the last, I don't know how many years. So that's my suggestion.
Awesome. Anybody else?
And I think this is a great speech you gave us. I've talked to you, just gave us a speech. The movement and the tribes. I think it's a great way to take it. See, we talked about you getting out there, talking to the district. This is the movement we talk about. You had it set up. You were done in what? You started at 8 o'clock, 10 minutes?
Something like that.
Perfect timing, and people will love you.
And I did it the last minute too, so there's a little plagiarism in there. But when you sit up to 2 or 3 in the morning, 2 nights or 3 nights in a row, because it's been 2 nights, writing on cards, and then I eliminated about 40 cards, then I eliminated more, and then I rewrote a whole bunch, but I'd like to have them memorized. But it's really not a new message, it isn't. It's not a new message, it's stuff that we know.
It's the presentation you gave, it's not the message.
Hope I did an okay presentation. Anybody have any other feedback? I know Frank, you and I are talking outside of the meeting a lot, and we're gonna talk more about that. And I'm excited, I've talked to some other people, and we'll get more into that in the next few weeks, you and I and some other people, right?
I totally, excuse me, I totally agree, and I think, we sometimes get a little comfortable or relaxed but these people that we're not seeing or haven't seen for a while are people that we care about. And why aren't we showing it with a phone call? And then saying, hey, we just, you know, at the meeting or what have you. And it's just like when we do a fundraiser, we raise money, we go out and help someone or people or a group that, and we're thinking we helped them, but what we did was answer their prayers. And so we have to keep that in mind at all times too.
Yes, very good.